I don't think this is going to be 2018 or 2019, by the way. Just the tariffs announced so far, if you include Mexico and Canada, they're 4 times the increase you saw in 2018. This was said by Richmond Federal Reserve President Tom Barkin, who has observed signs suggesting that the tariffs implemented by the Trump administration may exert a more significant influence on the economy compared to those enacted during the president's initial term. During a discussion with the Council on Foreign Relations in New York City on Tuesday, he noted that the uncertain economic landscape complicates the forecasting of future interest rate trends. Barkin emphasized his cautious approach to developing economic projections until the full details of the tariff policies are completely clarified. However, he indicated that the recent trade policy decisions might have a more pronounced impact on the economy this time around. It was not as big an issue in the context of the entire economy, he said, referring to President Trump's first term before losing to Joe Biden. President Donald Trump is anticipated to unveil a series of tariff hikes on Wednesday, potentially affecting a wide array of products, industries, and nations. This announcement comes on the heels of the 25% tariffs on imported vehicles and parts that Trump implemented last week, as well as the tariffs imposed on China and certain levies against Canada and Mexico last month. According to Barkin, during Trump's previous administration, tariffs were enacted after a decade characterized by minimal or no inflation. At that time, suppliers did not perceive they had pricing power, and consumers were largely unaware of inflation's implications. Consequently, the outcome was only slight inflation and some challenges regarding investor sentiment. The current circumstances are significantly different from previous situations. Many consumers are expressing their dissatisfaction with elevated prices and have begun to adjust their purchasing habits over the past year, according to Barkin. This shift may complicate matters for businesses attempting to transfer increased costs to the consumers. At the beginning of this year, the U.S. economy showed signs of weakness compared to 2024, characterized by reduced consumer spending and inflation rates exceeding preferred levels, although unemployment has remained steady. However, Barkin emphasized that these stats only provide a partial view, with uncertainty being the prevailing theme. While insights from the 2018 and 2019 tariff increases can offer some predictions regarding the potential effects of current and future tariffs, Barkin advises caution in awaiting the final outcomes of trade policy. These factors create difficulties for the Federal Reserve officials in their forecasting efforts. Additionally, Barkin noted that investors and observers of the Fed may sometimes be overly eager in attempting to predict the precise responses of policymakers. He went on to say, you don't know where policy is going to land. You don't know what the implications of that are going to be. It is very hard to make investment decisions, hiring decisions, spending decisions with that amount of uncertainty. There's an unhealthy amount of focus on the Fed and the financial press and the financial markets, he continued, acknowledging he speaks publicly and the investing public needs to take the Federal Reserve's communications in the spirit that it's intended, which is to try to be transparent and try to help people understand our reaction functions. People don't make promises or commitments. The world changes, and you've got to change, Barkin said. There's an assumption about where the economy might go. There's a reaction function, and given that assumption, that reaction function leads to a prediction of rate cuts. But who knows whether the economy is going to go that way?